This is how crazy we were. He lights them up. Rockets and Mateys, everything is blowing up. And one of the rockets goes right under the police car.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawton, America's biggest jewel thief. Join me as I walk you through my past robberies, how I planned them, executed them, and ultimately got caught. I'm going to show you how we did things in prison, like making a tattoo gun, making wine, making white lightning. It's going to be very educational. These are the Untold Stories.
Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here again for another Untold Stories. And here I'm bringing you back to my old house. The old area, my townhouse in the townhouse area where a lot of shenanigans started, from the mass parties to the bookmaking operation to the planning of some robberies to a whole bunch of stuff. Here we are. Before I get started, please check out our member programs on Patreon and YouTube and sign up for Larry Lawton's Action Crew. It's really important you do that because we really want to make a difference in this world. I did my life and my crazy life, and I want to make a difference now. And it's because of guys like you out there that we can make a difference. Well, I'm still in the area. I did the video on the pizzeria, which is about maybe a mile from here, not far at all. And now I'm here. I'm in North Lauderdale, Florida, and I lived off of Tam O'Shanter in Sussex Boulevard. I think it's 15, 16 or 15 something. 1570, I'll get the address. It's right here, Sussex Boulevard, I think it was. And I lived here from 1987, I think it's 87, 88, until I went to prison in 1996. It was a townhouse, nice, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I decked it out, did a lot of things crazy with it, from the patio and stuff. A beautiful little condo, townhouse, and had great neighbors. I'm gonna talk about them here in a minute. Well, I'm outside the front area of it. So right now you're looking, you can go in here, in this road is the front area of the going in. And I lived in the back of those brown townhouses. I'm gonna show you where we did it, what we set up with a car show, and I had the whole entire neighborhood on board, from the kids who used to look out for cops and used to paint stuff in the streets. So I'm gonna go into that. But I also wanted to come out here and show you from here. Obviously I'm having a great trip. I took my RV down here to do all of this. And over here is a apartment complex which was right across the street from where I lived. You know, again, I wasn't the nicest guy in the world, let's call it that. And over here I had an apartment set up, and I used to keep I used to do other bad things in that apartment. I used to sometimes keep extra drugs. I used to keep guns. I used to do a couple other things. I had women in there, and I had crazy orgies and everything else you can think of that a crazy gangster does. But again, always respectful to people, never disrespected. Listen, I guess you could call it its own disrespect in its own way, but back 30 years ago, things were a lot different. So I had an apartment in here and lived right over here. I mean, that's just how close I wanted the apartment. And guys I knew would stay there, and guys from Junior to Jimmy. And I'm gonna tell you a funny story right when we start. You know, Jimmy, who worked with me, he's passed away since. And here it is again. It's in Florida again. It's hot. It always is. But, you know, thanks for bearing with me. Anyway, Jimmy, we used to call him Jimmy Trains. And the reason we call him Jimmy Trains is because after a robbery, I used to send people different ways, so you don't put 3 people in a car going to New York. It was usually me and my brother would drive to New York, or even me alone sometimes. But we'd get to where we're going. Well, I sent Jimmy once on a train, and I said, Jimmy, you take the train, and we'll meet you in New York. And he has the craziest trip, gets totally drunk, gets lost on the train. Gets lost, takes a wrong train, does a whole bunch of stuff. Took him like 3-4 days to get from Florida to New York at the time. Anyway, we called him Jimmy Trains. And Jimmy was a great, great guy. He's since passed from cancer, but a great guy. And Jimmy, funny story about Jimmy. Jimmy is in New York. He's from Brooklyn, New York too. And he once tells his wife, at the time he was married, he tells his wife, I'm going out for milk and cigarettes. And he comes to Florida. Just goes to Kennedy Airport, gets on an airplane, and all of a sudden he calls and says, I'm at the airport, Larry, pick me up. Crazy Jim. We'll pick him up, and he stays in his apartment for a while. He ends up leaving his wife, but that was a whole nother story. It wasn't because of me. that was their own issues or whatever it is, which, you know, everybody has to deal with their own and issues at home, and all crosses to bear. We all have those. So in my case, I never ever disrespected my wives, ever. Never hit them, never hit a woman in my life. I don't believe in that. I'm a big enough guy and a tough enough guy that I don't have to prove myself by hitting a woman. I just don't do that. It's not my gig. I don't believe in it, and that's somebody else's gig. And I also tell women, don't you ever put your hands on me. Because if you put your hands on me, I'm going to treat you like a man. And that's a whole different animal. So women out there, don't think you have a free pass to hit a man. That's wrong. And obviously, if it happened to me today, I'd just walk away. I'm not going to hit anybody. Those days are over. Again, because if you can touch and you can affect my emotions that much, you win. And that's not right. So what I'm going to do now is I just wanted to show you the outside and where it all started. And the complex right there, the Hamptons it was. I don't know if you can see it over there. It's the Hamptons, and right over there. And I'm going to show you now my actual townhouse and explain a couple things that went there. All right, everybody, here we are continuing into the complex. This is into my complex. I was wrong. It was 1451 Sussex Drive. That was my actual address, 1451 Sussex Drive. That's where a lot of crazy stuff happened, and I'm going to show you where it is and what this neighborhood was about. And now I'm looking at the neighborhood, and we are talking 30 years ago. And you know what? It looks still like a decent neighborhood. They're well kept. The townhouses are all the right way. The lawns are kept nice. Everything is just the way it was pretty much back in my day. And it seems just, I don't know, I just came driving by here and I thought I would show everybody not only my house, some of the things that happened. Okay, now you're looking at, and if you anything about my book, or if you know anything about my whole story, hold on. Bringing back some memories actually, which is, I mean, the good part of them. Obviously, the bad part is the people you hurt and stuff of that nature. But I always say, listen, it is what it is. We all have to move on in life, and the more you can do better in today's world, the better off you are, obviously. Well, let me keep going. So here is my house. Right here was like the epicenter of the big July 4th, Larry's July 4th block party. It was a mega party. I'm going to show you a t-shirt. This is the shirts, and Darian's going to put that up right here. And that's the t-shirts called Larry Lawton's July block party. July 4th block party. We had a second annual, first annual, second annual, third annual, and it was a lot of fun. We had all in this whole area. I had a dunk tank. I had, right where I'm standing, we had big grills, and we had 1,000 hot dogs, 1,000 hamburgers. We had 10 kegs of beer, 40 cases of soda. I had a one-man band right here. And later at night, sometimes we had a different one. We had a DJ or something like that. We had a dunk tank over here. I had on this side, right over here, I had rides for kids. And even the rides went into the street. And then after that, on the other side, over here, all the cars were gone, and I actually had a car show. And I had classic cars and stuff of that nature. So I had a car show as well. Matter of fact, a little funny story. One time, you know, I used to do this, and everyone got to know me, and the gangster in the area is doing something. Some guy didn't want to move their car. It was a small car, I don't know, Fiat or something like that. I sent 5 or 6 guys over. They picked his car up and moved it. They moved this guy's car out of the spot. And I guess he didn't say a word, you know. I mean, what is he going to say? You know, he's got all these gorillas doing whatever they're going to do. And I told them to move that car. They moved that car. Trust me, they did. And it's funny because people ask, remember when you had the guys move the car? And so the party was here. In fact, one of the funniest stories is when a friend of mine, his name is Roe, he says to me, Larry, he goes, I need one of you guys, he goes, and a gallon of gasoline. I go, what's going on? He wanted to do the fireworks for July 4th. And I had mega fireworks. So I said, sure. So I said, Junior, get him whatever he needs. Junior goes and gets a gallon of gasoline. And at the time, right here, in front here, where I'm pointing, right here, there was bushes. There was like a bushes going up right here. Like these bushes. Like those bushes there, but they were here low. So we're sitting here, and I'm sitting I am right in front here. It was me, the mayor, a couple of dignitaries, my parents, my crew. You know, we had the whole crew. So the party's a lot of fun. I mean, we're having a blast. People are drunk. Matter of fact, you guys know my son who's on Instagram, and he works for me now. See up in that window up there? My son goes up there. He's 6 years old, and he takes his clothes off. He's buck naked in the window. Buck naked in the window, and he screams. He's like, we're laughing. There had to be 150 people right here. We used to have 500 to 1,000 people come to this place all day long. It was a free party for everybody. And my son right here was up naked. And matter of fact, I'll never forget that year he ends up getting a pink eye, because we had a dunk tank right over there, a dunk tank. And yeah, where you throw the ball and the guy's sitting on it. My son made it almost like into a pool. He comes from Brooklyn, he didn't know anything about a pool. He literally was in that tank all day, dirty water or whatever it is, and he gets pink eye. And I end up one time even getting him sick. That's a whole nother story. But we're sitting here, and right here, where there's bushes, so Ro gets the gasoline. Now I'm sitting with the mayor, I'm sitting with all the people right here. And all of a sudden, I see, he goes, it's gonna start. And now I had guys playing music, and I mean, they played all the, you know, the patriotic songs and the blowing things up. It was just amazing, it was crazy. You know, God bless America, and all the American songs you hear on 4th of July, and they're all going off. And we're going because we tell everybody, slow down everything else. We're going to have a fireworks display. Everybody's drinking. Now, you got to remember, this party started at about 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning. Now it's nighttime. Who's ripped, who's drunk, or whatever. It was just an unbelievable party. So here we are. We're in here. And we're sitting. And again, I'm with the mayor. I'm with other people. And all of a sudden, we see the guy. Rose over there. He's doing his thing with the guy, with Junior. And up comes over here, we're sitting here, 2 cop cars. Now we got to remember, we had the mayor here, we had fire trucks for kids, we had porta johns from the city that were put in the corner over there. We got porta johns. I mean, this whole place, no cars, this was shut off. And there was no permits back then. Nobody would permit. Jack, I need this done. Okay, done. So anyway, we have all this stuff done, and all of a sudden 2 cop cars pull up. At that moment, I see a wall of fire, and a fire go from like where they are across the hedge line. You see like a line of fire, and it goes on to the fireworks. He takes a whole bunch of fireworks, puts them in a pile, puts gasoline on them. This is how crazy we were. He lights them up. Rockets and Mateys, everything is blowing up, and one of the rockets goes right under the police car. I look at, oh shit, we're arrested something. I turn to Jack, I said, Jack, you gotta take care of this now. You gotta take care of this. Jack gets up, he's the mayor. He walks over to the police, talks to the police get in their car and leave. I says, are you kidding? Whatever I did for people, whatever it was worth it at that moment, because somebody was going to jail. I mean, it was that crazy of a party. But the fireworks are going off, everybody's screaming. Listen, this is a party for all parties. In fact, I had the party set up so well that the deal was anybody can come if you knew somebody or if you were respectful. I had goons, work for me. Now, they would go around, and if they don't know somebody, they didn't know who they were, they'd go up to them and say, excuse me, who are you here with? If the guy said, oh, Todd, your neighbor said I could come. Great, have a good time, have some beer, here's the food, what do you need? Blah, 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 anything you need, any suggestions, whatever. And most people would say, can we donate? No, I wanted no donations, 0. This was not about anything. No money was allowed to be given. This was a party that I threw. And so people would come. Now, anybody, if you just said, hey, Larry said to meet me here, and great, okay, Larry. I might look at someone and say he's good or whatever. If you weren't invited to the party, it'd be asked to leave, and you would leave. We didn't want people from other neighborhoods just showing up, making this their party. They don't know anybody. That's not what it was about. It was about anybody who was invited here for free. So all the neighbors, all their family and friends, everybody that we invited would come, and it was unbelievable all day long. for free. And you know, I had one person come up to me and say, Larry, you know, you don't realize how nice this was for us. I got a family of 4 kids. He goes, and I had rides and roller coasters and bounce houses and Barney painting the faces. He says, Larry, he goes, do you know how much it would cost me to try to bring kids to something like this? I couldn't afford it. You know, he's a working guy, he couldn't afford it. And I get that, I totally do. And I understand that 100%. So, but I was happy to do it. And that made me feel good. You know, I used to get cards in the mail afterwards and people would say, man, Larry, thank you very much. I couldn't have did that. Because they're getting fed, their kids are getting fed, Barney paint, sodas, beers, anything, hot dogs, watermelon, you name it. It was a total entire party for free. And I did it because I just love people. And I love to make people who can't afford things and stuff like that. I like to help people. Even back then, as bad as I was, I like to help people. So, over here, that was the line here. Now, next door to me, right here, was Matt and Chris. To this day, I hear from the kids. They're really good guys. They're young guys. Now they're 35, 36 years old. And they're a lot of fun. They're guys that I know from to this day. And they were 16 and 15, 16. And they would work for me. They'd make money. So they would have a lot of fun. So anyway, that's the house over there. It was Chris and Matt. Over these houses, I had a girlfriend over here. I know, married and everything, but I had a girlfriend over here. That's what I just did. There's all the kids. Matter of fact, the kids, Matt and Chris, they'll tell you, I took paint and I did spray paint and I made a football field in the street for them. I actually made a football field in the street for them. So I think that was pretty funny too. They always said, hey man, Larry, man. And I used to pay them and give them money, and they were good kids. They used to wash my car, wash my limousine. They'd wash the boat and clean things out. They were good kids. To this day, great kids, and I respect them so much. And I do hear from them. So I do hear from those guys as well. So, you know, looking at this whole entire thing and looking at the whole neighborhood, I said, this is just, not much has changed. And you know, as much as I've changed, the neighborhood changed. I mean, I have people that say, oh, what are you doing here? Why are you taking? Listen, I'm showing people where I live. Is that bad? I look at that and say, man, some people have no life. They come and complain that I'm taking a video here. I have no idea why. There's nothing illegal. Obviously, I would never do anything illegal or want to do anything or go into anybody's house or anything like that. But that's okay. I mean, people, for whatever reason, they're still so etchy or whatever, but that's their issue. So this is my neighborhood. This is my old stomping grounds, and from here a lot started. I mean, that's where the cops, my ex-wife Missy, which I'm interviewing too, went to those mailboxes over there when the feds came to me, and they arrested me on a Monday night. They closed off this whole entire area. Little did we know, during the day, that day, she said, my ex-wife goes out and Missy says, you know, I think I was following. And I'm thinking, who's following them? Is it mobsters or is it somebody? And even the kids in the neighborhood used to tell me if there was you know, like a electrical truck that might be suspicious. It could have been the feds watching me or whoever it was. Obviously it was. And that day the feds were, because at 5 o'clock that night, my wife, ex-wife, goes out with my daughter, who was 15 months old at the time, in her arms, goes to get the mail. She screams, they're coming, they're coming. And that's when the feds went through the door, they went around the back, they went through the patio, they did a whole of stuff, everything in the back there. They came through the patio, had screening, big clothes and all that, with jacuzzi, all that. They come through that, and whoa. I actually sat on the curb right there. I sat on that curb right there. I sat on that curb right there and gave the money, I gave my money, which out of my pocket, and they were nice enough. The feds weren't, not bad. The feds came to me and says, hey, you know, I said, listen, I got money in my pocket. Can I give it to my wife? I had nice sneakers. They said, sure, here, give it to your wife. I had about $3,000 in my pocket, and I gave the money to my ex-wife. Everything worked out well. I mean, it did work out well. Obviously, you know, as much as you think, oh man, I got caught and everything else, everything worked out for the best. I'm a changed man. Obviously, I'm not that way. But I did have some good times here, and the young people I talk about and stuff, to this day, I hear from them, and they're good kids. They're really good guys. So I just wanted to start from the front of the complex to here where we are, and in the whole complex, even back to the pool back there. We had a big pool. We used to have parties in that place as well. Obviously, I was a lot younger. We're talking over 30 years ago. I was in my late 20s and into my 30s. When I got arrested, I was 34 years old. All right, guys. Hope you're enjoying our untold stories and my reminiscing of my old area. Now I'm going to take you to the warehouse where we had the limousines, and we're going to do another video over there, and then probably a jewelry robbery where I did a store and how it was done. All right, everybody, have a great day. Larry Lawton here saying, please stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Pass the word about our channel. We're trying to make a difference. Join Larry Lawton's Action Crew. Have a great day, everybody.